All right, where are all my homeowners at? Regardless of whether you're looking to sell this year or 2 years or 3 years from now, there's a lot of information you're gonna need to know and educate yourself on before you actually go to sell that home. This video is it. Let's get ready to go. Join me as we go through the best things to know before you sell your house. All right, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do, which seems obvious, but that's running your numbers. So simply sitting down with a realtor to go through what are all the costs of selling, what's your potential net payoff amount, how much you're gonna have to pay for during the selling process, because there are some costs to selling, which we know, but it's just a really great way to evaluate, is this the best time to sell? Do I need to sell or should I rent my home? Just really working through all the options, because at the end of the day, we wanna make sure that you're as profitable as possible and not stressing mid-process with unexpected costs that you didn't know about. So things like cleaning, things like pet treatment, things like landscaping, things like keeping your water and electricity on while the home is still for sale if you've already moved on. We want to make sure that you have all of this information so you can plan accordingly. All right, tip number 2 for before you sell your home is obviously to have a little bit of patience. So just a good perspective that this is a time process that's going to take maybe a couple months, hopefully not longer than that, but just preparing your home for sale can take about a month. And then once you put it on market, could take another 15, 30 days to get an accepted offer. And then after that could take 30 to 45 days to close. So really knowing the timeline, having patience, this is one of my tips later, but I'm gonna say it now, is working with that realtor to understand the timeline and making sure you feel really confident and you're in close communication during the whole process. All right, tip number 3 before you go to sell your home is to obviously keep really open communication with your agent. So for a lot of people, you can feel like, oh, I don't wanna bother them, or I'm assuming that they know this thing about my house. Never assume, and always keep that line of communication open. So I always do a group text with all of my clients so that they really understand, hey, this thing's going on, or just so you know, prepare for these things 3 days in ahead, just so that we're all on the same page, and it helps build that trust and that rapport with your agent. And you should really work with somebody that you have 110% confidence in. I understand when clients go to work with family, but if they're that new agent and you're just trying to give them a break, you might want backup, or to say, hey, I'll give you a shot, buddy, but I want you to co-list with so-and-so who's an experienced agent, just because this is the biggest asset that most people own. A home is no joke, especially if you've been sitting in it for 5 to 10 years and you've got almost double the equity. We wanna make sure that this baby is really well taken care of and you feel good leaving this property in someone's hands. All right, so the last tip before you go to sell your home is obviously to prepare the mindset of negotiation. And so for some of my sellers, it's really hard to negotiate because you want a certain number so bad. This is your baby, your pride and joy. You spent a lot of years here, so you really feel and know that your home is worth a certain amount. And then something will happen, inspection repairs will come up, some requests will come from the buyer, or even just agreeing on a price can be hard for people, but I want you to start with the mindset of preparing to negotiate. So we're also gonna think to the buyer side and really have that back and forth mindset of, okay, well, I'm the seller, this is what I want, this is really important to me, but also the buyer's coming in with their own needs, wants, and wishes in their situation. So let's try to keep their perspective in mind too, and trying to come to that win-win situation. It's obviously my job as your agent to help you come to that conclusion and negotiate on your behalf, but I just want to keep in mind, I have sellers who are so stubborn and end up losing deals and walking away from really good money because they're not willing to come down a little bit in price or give some credits here and there depending on the condition of the home. And they're walking away from a lot of money, and it takes another month, 2 months, 3 months to sell their home because they're just not willing to give any on their side. And during those 2-3 months that the home is sitting on the market, you're still paying for HOA, you're paying for your mortgage, you're paying for your electricity, your water. That's a lot of costs that adds up over those extra time that your home is for sale, when you could have just taken the offer in the first place and you'd be closed in 30 days. So quick tip there, just really try to keep that win-win situation as we go forward, knowing that I'm working on your behalf and we are one team to get you to the end. All right, so to wrap up this video, that was 4 major things that I see with our sellers and just some advice for you guys as you plan for the future. Like I said, there's a lot of situations and everybody's home is so different and everyone's reason for moving is so different. But if you can keep these 4 things in mind, I promise you're gonna have a much smoother ride. You're gonna have set expectations of what to do, when to do it, and how to work with that agent to sell your home. And really, it's that trust and having that relationship to say, this person's gonna be in charge of my property while I'm gone or while they're selling the property. And it's really important to work with a realtor that you trust. If you guys have questions about that, if you want me to run a net sheet on what you could potentially profit on a home if you were to sell it in the next 6 months, I'd be happy to do that. Same thing, if you wanna know what's the cost of selling a home, I can do a separate video on that too. If you guys wanna shoot me in the comments a little note, I'd be happy to do that video. But I'm here to help. As always, I'm always here to be a resource and an advisor to you as you guys put your money to work in your homes and build wealth that way through real estate. I will catch you guys soon on the next video. Bye.